if you have something that is in you that could benefit someone else by either serving a want or a need, you are what can be referred to as a person of value. I like to use the term value creator, and that's the idea that you have something that you can make or that you know or that you have that could be valuable to someone else. And that makes you a person of value, right? If you are such a person, and if I am such a person, that comes with certain obligations and certain responsibilities that are born with being a value creator or a person of value. I discussed three of those in a previous video, and I said the first is the obligation to give value, and the second is the obligation to multiply that value or to scale that value by either multiplying or magnifying it. And in this video, I want to discuss the third obligation of value, which is, I'll label it promotion, marketing, or evangelism, right? Promotion, marketing, or evangelism. And that's the idea that if you have something of value, there are people out there who might not know of that value. They might not know that it exists, firstly, and they might not know that that value exists in you. And those people need to then know about that value so that they could then benefit from it. And that's what I mean by either promotion, marketing, or evangelism. In my mind, all of those things are the same thing. It's the idea that there's something of value that you need as a person, right? And you might, and I might possess that. And if I believe that what I have could benefit you, right, it can fulfill a want or a need or, close a gap or solve a problem, I have the responsibility to inform you of that value that you can then benefit from. And the opposite is true and vice versa, that if you have something that I could benefit from or that someone else in the world could benefit from, and you truly believe that you have that value, you can solve that problem, or you know the process of how to solve the problem, or you have the information necessary to help a person solve that problem, that burdens you with the responsibility to inform the world of that value, or at least that person of the value that you have to give, so that they can be benefited from that value. And that's the burden of, responsibility that is placed upon being a value creator or a person of value. It comes with the responsibility. And so why do I call it promotion, marketing, or evangelism? Promotion basically is to make people aware of it, right? It's to say that, look, there's something that you might not know you need, but here's the need that you have, and here's how that need can be solved, or here's how I can solve that need, or here's how I can show you the way in which that need can be solved. So we should think of all the education we have, all the experience we have, all the knowledge we have as being a way to enable other people to meet a want or a need, and that's how we can be valuable or beneficial to someone else. And this is beyond only, the direct application of it, but includes various things such as the information that we've learned, the references that we can point people to, the solutions that we've, come into contact with, the people that we know, and to add that value in that way. And there are multiple ways to do that. But the point is to create an awareness of the fact that there is this value that exists, and if you are willing, it is accessible and available to you for such and such a price, or through these and those methods. It's the responsibility of promotion or evangelism or marketing. So to use various examples, if you have a solution to something that someone needs and you know how to solve that problem, right? It's impediment on you, on I, to make them aware of that solution and then invite them to receive it. I like to use the word evangelism as well, because that relates to, a spiritual aspect, to say that in the message of, what people would call the gospel, in the good news, there's a belief that you have a message that could help people through the problem of what is called sin, right? The problem that is burdening their lives. And through this message, you can be benefited by receiving and believing it, and thus your life be transformed. If I have such a message and I believe that I have it and that it can benefit other people, there's a moral responsibility on me to make them aware of such a message and then to deliver that message to them so that they can then take the necessary action to, apply that message in their lives and thus be benefited by it. But it's true in various other ways as well, beyond the spiritual, that if you were to take the knowledge that you have, the skills that you have, and again, I use generic terms or very general language because it can relate to anything, right? How to solve a problem, how to meet a need, how to address a concern, how to meet certain targets. That knowledge that you have can meet a certain need, but people don't know about it. They aren't aware of it. They don't know how to, receive that information. But if you just tell them, actually, this is how you do it, they benefit from that. There's something I was reading the other day of someone who was talking about something random, they were selling distributors list, and I'm sure some people have seen this online, where someone is selling a list of things that they have found and that they've accumulated over time, which they've realized that, hey, most people actually don't have this information, but I do. Let me tell them of the fact that, hey, I have this information, and if you would like it, it's available to you at such and such a price or through such and such means. There is a necessity to create an awareness around the value that you have to give. Once you realize that marketing, promotion, and evangelism is actually a responsibility in order to create access to value, it becomes less cringeworthy, right? Less awkward for people who might feel themselves to not be that outspoken or that outgoing or whatnot. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and he was talking about the fact that, there are those of us who, in terms of their getting across their value, they need to follow a more direct approach, a more outspoken approach to say that, hey, please, subscribe to this, or, they chase us for their leads. Whereas there are those who just need to display the value, and those who actually want the value will actually drawn to it. It's called a push-pull strategy, and I might leave a link to it in the description. But it's the idea that promotion and marketing is nothing other than creating an awareness of the value that you have to give. It's not about, hassling people, flagging people down, chasing people to, take what they don't want or to swallow what they don't have an appetite for. No, it's all about creating an awareness of the value that can solve specific people's problems. And if that's the case, then it means you don't have to necessarily create an awareness to everyone, but it's about creating an awareness to the individuals who can be benefited from the value that you have to give. And so that's why there's a necessity then, maybe as a tangent, to know who the value could be beneficial to know who it could be of value to. But beyond that, the lesson for the day is just to regard the fact that if you and I are value creators, you've got something of value, something that you've learned or that you know or that you've experienced, or talent that you have, something that can benefit someone else by either educating them, informing them, entertaining them, cheering them up, whatever, you have the responsibility to give that value. But because they don't know that value, they're not aware of it, that comes with it the impediment or the responsibility to create an awareness for their benefit, to let them know that, hey man, by the way, I think you can be benefited by this. Have you heard about this? Do you know that there's this thing that exists that can solve your problem or that can meet your need? Creating an awareness out of a genuine acceptance of the fact that this can actually benefit you. This can actually be valuable to you. If you review that perspective, you realize that it's actually a bit more altruistic. It's more about actually giving value than merely about getting. And you'll realize that the people that we regard as most irritating when they, try to, like telesales people and whatnot, the people that we have that we most dislike are the people who we feel are chasing us down so that they can take something from us, whether it's our money or our time or whatever, right? We dislike them because we feel that they're trying so much to get something from us. But when it's more about to say, I'm creating an awareness because I genuinely believe this will be valuable to you, it's more altruistic. It's more about doing it for the benefit of the other person. And it's more driven by love. And it's the burden that comes with being a person of value. This is only for those who might truly believe that they have something of value in their knowledge, in their skills, in their talents, and in their abilities. That the world is robbed if you're not giving the value. But for them to know that there's this value, there's a responsibility to create an awareness, to let people know, to promote, to market, to evangelize in the value that you have to give. I hope that may be beneficial and valuable to you. Looking forward to catching each other on the other side. All the best.